Hi everyone! So in the past few days, I'm sure you guys noticed, I had a chance to go over many different viewer comments and to comment them back. Now what I noticed on my end is that a lot of people have misconceptions about web scraping. And I really don't blame you guys because there's a lot of conflicting information online. Some articles are claiming that it's super illegal, some articles are claiming that it's perfectly legal. So I thought I might as well film a video to share my experience with web scraping. Now the topics we will talk about in this video is A, is web scraping legal or not? B, are the terms of use or community guidelines of platforms allow web scraping? And 3, we will talk about copyrights and fair use. And before we move on, I have to mention that I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal consultant. I am not supposed to give you legal advice. Everything I'm gonna say in this video, please double check it on your end. Read some articles, see some examples. Don't just rely on my words. Even though I'm a very reliable person, but it's up to you to judge. Now, to determine whether web scraping is legal or not, we will actually use some basic logic. And my first argument is, there is absolutely nothing you can do with Selenium or Mechanical Soup or Beautiful Soup that you cannot do manually with your mouse and keyboard. For example, if I wanted to connect with many people on LinkedIn, I could have just clicked on the connect button, page after page, and connect with as many people as I wanted. There is absolutely no difference between the results of manual connections and the results of connections via bots. We are simply using our programming skills to make our life slightly better. So my philosophy is, as long as you can do it with your mouse and keyboard, there is no reason why you can't do it with automation. Now, my second argument would be that many professional developers are using web scraping on a daily basis. They work in legitimate companies, some of them are doing marketing, some of them are doing human resources, some of them are doing cybersecurity. Automation and web scraping is part of their daily routine. How would you test software or web applications if you cannot use automation? And why would libraries like Selenium, Mechanical Soup, and Beautiful Soup exist in the first place if there's something wrong about this practice? Now let's talk about terms of use of certain platforms. So if we take Instagram for example, they strictly forbid the use of crawlers, bots, or anything automated that is not related to search engines. And yet, many people are still scraping Instagram. So the worst thing that Instagram or any other social media platform can do to you, if you're violating their community laws, is to delete your account. And for some of us, deleting their social media account would be devastating. For others, we don't really mind. There's nothing that prevents us from opening a brand new account, which can be a fake account, it doesn't even have to have our name, and to web scrape from there. So what people usually do is they have a personal account or a company account that is being regulated by humans, of course. And on top of that, they have almost an army of bots that consists of dummy accounts. And when I say dummy accounts, I don't mean stupid accounts, I mean fake accounts that are only used for advertising purposes. For example, if you post a brand new photo on Instagram and you add the hashtag fashion or hashtag style, you will most likely get a comment on that photo asking if you would like to collab with some kind of a jewelry company or some kind of a clothing company. Now, the comment itself is generated by a bot that usually doesn't even have any followers. But in the body of the message, the bot will include a link to the official account of the brand that has many different followers and seems 100% legit. And he will ask you to directly message the official company and not the bot. But the truth is, they don't really care about your 300 followers. They don't care about your influence. Maybe once in a blue moon, somebody grows and gets enough followers based on these partnerships. But usually, the only customers that these brands have are those influencers that directly message them as a response to the bot. So yes, they offer you discount on their products. And yes, sometimes they tell you, we will send you the products for free, you just need to pay for shipping. But guess what? They most likely don't have any other customers. So it's a brilliant way to market your fashion company. at least in my opinion. And that's why I believe that Instagram came up with these regulations in the first place. They just don't want people to be tricked. And with all due respect to the terms of use and to the community regulation of each platform, these are not laws. So can you get in legal trouble for automating a social media platform that doesn't want to be automated? No, but they can remove your account or they can suspend it for a week or 2 weeks. That's pretty much all. Most likely, they will not even know that you web scraped anything because nobody cares about the 30 photos of cats you downloaded to your computer. That's not the purpose of these regulations. What can get you in legal trouble is copyrights. And this is where I need you guys to pay extra attention. And again, I am not a lawyer. I am not a copywriter. Everything I know about copyrights and fair use, I learned on the internet. Yes, I've read many different articles, but I still want you guys to do your own research. So whenever I talk about copyrights, what I actually mean is, what are you planning to do with the information you web scraped? So let's say you just downloaded 40 images of cats to your computer. Did you violate any copyrights laws? No, not yet. But if you're planning to distribute these photos, this is when copyrights come to play. So the only few things you can do with the information you web scrape is using it for educational purposes and for non-profit purposes. Because whenever you're trying to make profit out of something that you didn't create, you're not the original owner of this content, there's really no difference between this and stealing. The only difference is you're stealing intellectual property and not physical property. But if the only thing you're doing with this information is saving it on your computer or using it for educational, non-profit purposes, you are not violating anything. You're actually protected under the Fair Use Clause of copyrights. People who claim that if you copy anything from the internet, if you download anything you saw online, you are violating somebody's copyrights, these folks are not familiar with the Fair Use Clause. And in fact, if this clause didn't exist, most likely the internet would not exist. Because the whole purpose of the internet is to share information one with another. So before you let people freak you out about copyrights, please read about fair use. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video where we finally talk about artificial intelligence. So stay tuned.